everybody!
Welcome back to the Core channel, or the Cast of Randomness channel. And today, we'll be talking about many unique things.
Konnichiwa, watashiwa, soya.
Hey, Joya Natan.
Marhaban ana aliaks.
Those are all from other languages, by the way. First up, we have the space expert, Corey, telling us all about comets and asteroids. Take off!
Hello, my name is Corey, and today I'm going to be talking about comets and asteroids, what they are made of, and more. Comets are made out of ice, dust, rocks, and gas. The cloud that you see around a comet is called a coma, and the center is called a head or nucleus. Mars may have been hit by an asteroid creating its moons. Asteroids are made out of rocks and dust. Some asteroids are made of different types of metals, or even small pieces of other planets or moons. There are lots of famous comets and asteroids. One famous comet is Halley's Comet, which was last seen in 1986. The next appearance will be in 2061. On the other hand, there was a famous asteroid named 2019, okay. And do you want to know why it's called that? Because it appeared in 2019. All in all, there are different times when things appear and disappear. Whenever it happens, you surely might see it. Comets and asteroids are pretty cool. Without comets and asteroids, there would be nothing. I'm going to tell you some fun facts about comets and asteroids now. An asteroid crashed into Earth 65 million years ago. It was the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. A comet may have crashed into Earth a long time ago that brought water and gases that started life on Earth. Without comets, we wouldn't be here to experience the wonders of today and tomorrow. All in all, asteroids and comets are very important for life on Earth. Unless they crash into Earth today, then that would be devastating. Finally, the most important ingredient for life on Earth that is in comets is water!
Thanks, Corey. That was amazing. Next up, we have Nathan, telling us all about the country of Sweden.
Bring us, Nathan.
Sweden is a wonderful country in a continent known as Europe. Today we will talk about Sweden's geography, its people, culture, and economy, and its history. You will be shocked to find out everything about Sweden. Do you know about Sweden's geography? If not, I'll tell you. Sweden is the largest nation in Northern Europe. I don't know how big though. I can't say the reason why. But Sweden is big enough that it will be split into 3 regions. Gotland is the one in the very south near a country called Denmark. Svealand is the most populous region, having all of its 3 major cities, like Sweden's capital, Stockholm. Norrland is in the north and covers 2/3 of the country. Sweden is the country with the most islands. The 2 main ones are called Gotland and Åland. Most of Sweden gets about 30 centimeters of rainfall per year. Winters here are very cold, of course. It's near the Arctic. They go down to 20 degrees. But then summer comes. Guys, we're all gonna die. Oh, it's not that hot here. Summer in Sweden only goes up to 70 degrees. So that's just about everything important about Sweden's geography. Next up, there are many things a country needs. One I haven't talked about is the people. The Kingdom of Sweden is a democratic kingdom with about 10 million people, which, to be honest, that's probably outdated. The people officially speak Swedish, and their currency is the Swedish krona. Swedish people believe in a religion called Lutheran, a type of Christianity. Sweden gets many immigrants, but there are so many that I don't even want to say. Every country also has a culture or way of life for the people. Swedish people love sports. They really do. Most Swedes live in apartments because of the high heating costs and taxes. Sweden has some popular foods and is home to a popular feast called the smorgasbord? Yeah, smorgasbord. But the economy might as well be the most important of them. Sweden has a successful economy mostly coming from the country's forests and caves. It's said that Sweden has one of the best steel in the world.
Hey, what about IKEA?
Anyways, lastly, I think everyone knows this, but most countries have a decent amount of history. Like Sweden, it starts off before the 8th century when 2 tribes, the Goths and the Sphere, attack each other, then unite. From 800 AD, the tribes were invaded, and up until 1050, Sweden was ruled by the Vikings. The first Christians reached Sweden in the 12th century, and at the time, Sweden became a kingdom and invaded Finland. In 1397, Sweden was invaded by Denmark, which later became the Kalmar Union. Sweden eventually had enough, and in 1523, they fought for their independence and won. Sweden and Denmark had a huge amount of wars up until 1814. Russia attacked Sweden in 1700, with Sweden taking them out. But then Sweden tried to get revenge in 1709 and failed. The loss of the war gained the Russians the ownership of Finland. When the Napoleonic Wars ended in 1814, Sweden gained Norway, becoming Sweden-Norway. The two countries would break apart in 1905. Sweden remained neutral ever since. So that's everything important about Sweden, from the geography to the people, culture and economy, and its history. What a fun time it would be to visit. Anyways, bye!
Great job, Nathan.
Thirdly, we have Sawyer talking about the wonderful world of Nintendo.
Game on!
Nintendo is one of the biggest video game companies in the world, with thousands of games made and with some of the most famous video game designers in the world. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, made by Nintendo, is voted one of the best video games of all time. Nintendo is really fantastic. Here's some more information about this great video game company. Now first, I'm going to talk about history. Nintendo was founded in 1889 by somebody named Fusajiro Yamachi. All Nintendo sold was playing cards called Hanafuda. After he retired, his daughter's husband, Seikiro Kanata, became president. He retired in 1949, and his grandson, Hiroshi Yamachi, took over. In 1959, he made a deal with Walt Disney and started making Disney-themed Hanafuda. In 1970, they hired an engineer and started producing toys for Nintendo. And in the 1970s, other businesses started selling video games and consoles that go with them. Hiroshi saw that video games were popular, so he decided that Nintendo should start producing them. They made an arcade game called Radarscope. It was popular in Japan, so they bought a huge order to send to America. But by the time it had hit New York, it had died out. Nintendo was losing money fast, but then a newly hired designer, Shigeru Miyamoto, we'll talk about him later, designed a game called Donkey Kong. It was a hit everywhere. Everything was going great until the 1980s, when again, everything went horribly wrong. The video games were low quality, there were too many consoles to choose from, and people would buy computers instead. This was a problem, and Atari almost went out of business. Nintendo knew they were next, so they produced the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Sales were not high until Shigeru produced the best game of their time, Super Smash Bros. Sales are huge, just like Donkey Kong. Sales in all video games went up. Without Nintendo, video games would be myths your ancestors told you about. Video games haven't had a drought since then. Next, we're going to talk about Shigeru Miyamoto, the one I mentioned earlier, and how he is the most famous video game designer in the world. If you don't believe me, ask Alexa or search it up on Google. He was born on November 6, 1952. As he was a kid, he was very curious and creative. He loved creating things like puppets and more. In college, he became interested in manga. Eventually, after college, he got a meeting with the president of Nintendo. He got hired as a painter to paint arcade games. And as I mentioned earlier, he moved on to designing video games during the drought. The main games he created were Donkey Kong, the Mario Bros. Series, the Legend of Zelda series, which was based on his own experience, and more. Mario was so popular that he became Nintendo's mascot, which is why Shigeru Miyamoto is a very special person. The last thing I'm going to talk about is characters that represent different Nintendo video games. I'm going to tell you about 3 of the most famous ones. The first one I will tell you about is the most iconic character in the world, Mario. He has also appeared in over 200 games, with his first appearance being Donkey Kong. He loves meatballs and mushrooms and dislikes Bowser. The Mario series is the biggest gaming franchise of all time. The next character is Pikachu. Pikachu is probably the best known Pokemon of all. Appearing in Pokemon Red and Blue in 1996, Pikachu loves electricity and dislikes losing in Super Smash Bros. The third character I'm going to talk about is Link. Link first appeared in Legend of Zelda in 1986. He loves fighting and dislikes Ganon. Link is a knight that lives in Hyrule to protect Princess Zelda. He is another iconic character by Nintendo. Those are 3 of the most iconic characters of Nintendo. There are many more like Kirby, Star Fox, Pac-Man, and more. I hope you enjoy learning about the wonderful world of Nintendo. Sayonara, Soya Sinofu. That means I'm signing off, by the way. Back to you, core anchors.
That was wonderful, Sawyer. Now I want to play Nintendo.
Who's next? Oh, next is Sam, talking about the depths of the Great Grand Canyon.
Have you ever been to Grand Canyon? It's a swell place to be. We're going to be talking about the layers in history, the creatures and inhabitants, and the geographical points and trails. If you go there, I hope you have a good time. Our first mini topic we're talking about is layers in history. The Grand Canyon is located in the northwestern area of Arizona. It was formed by the Colorado River slowly changing its shape. There are several layers of the Grand Canyon. The deeper you go, the older the layers get. That was the first topic. Ready for the next 2? Our second topic is the creatures / inhabitants of the Grand Canyon. First, we'll start by listing our insects. Our insects are the flame skimmer dragonfly and the morning clock moth. Next, we're going to be talking about our plants. Our plants are the desert willow, the nuff-leaf hackleberry, and the cliff rose. Now, for our animals, we have the American dipper, spotted skunk, and spotted bats. That was our second topic. Now on third and last one. There are many different paths and reservations in the Grand Canyon. We're going to be listing the reservations first and the trails next. These two reservations are called the Hasupi Indian Reservation and the Navajo Indian Reservation. We only have two trails to talk about. Our trails are the South and North Kebab Trail and the Bright Angel Trail. That's all for this topic. If you find this information interesting, stick around for one more fun fact. 550 million years ago, the canyon housed an animal called trilobites, which were first known animals to have eyes. If you're persuaded by this and want to visit the Grand Canyon, do it!
Hey Mom, can we go to the Grand Canyon? Pretty please.
1, you don't have enough money, and 2, it's not a real phone.
Darn it.
Next up, we have the McLaren master, Matthew, talking about everything you need to know about these cool cars.
Hi, I'm Matthew, and today I'm going to tell you all about McLarens. The first thing I will talk about is the history, then the different types, and finally I will tell you all you need to know about them. First, I will talk about the history of McLarens. In 1950, Bruce McLaren was making a name for himself in racing. He drove a Formula One and many other cars. In 1963, he started his own racing team. They built their own cars, and in 1960, the team was very successful. In 1970, Bruce crashed while testing a new car and sadly passed. But even after a devastating blow, they continued to race and they won most of them. Then they finally made the McLaren F1. Next, I'm going to talk about the different types of McLarens. The first type I'm going to talk about is the McLaren F1. The McLaren F1 was introduced in 1993 and made many heads turn, but I don't think they're still in production to this day. The second type I'm going to talk about is the McLaren 12C. After 13 years without a new car, they came out with the McLaren 12C, aka the Coupe. And it first could be seen in 2009, but you cannot buy it until 2011. The last one is the Spider, and it could be seen around the same time as the Coupe. Unlike the Coupe, it had a retractable roof and could be raised or lowered in 17 seconds. Last but not least, I'm going to tell you all you need to know about them. The steering wheel, instead of a normal one, has pedals on the side of it that act as shifters. The air brake is like a spoiler, but it's not, so if you need to stop fast. The door acts as a butterfly. They go up, not straight out. It's mostly made out of carbon fiber and is built for speed. The last thing I will say is that the front and back are swapped. The engine is in the back and there is a trunk in the front. So now you know a lot about McLarens. I bet I told you something about the history or the types or about them in general you just didn't know about. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.
I can't believe that's true. And finally, Alex, teaching us about Egyptian mythology.
Wait, where is the time machine? Do you know about Egyptian mythology? Let me tell you all about it. Firstly, let me tell you about the gods. The sun god, Ra, created the sky goddess, Nut, and the earth god, Geb. They created Isis, goddess of healing and magic, Horus, the god of war, and Set, the god of chaos. Fun fact, did you know that there are more than 2,000 gods in Egyptian mythology? Secondly, let me tell you about the description. Did you know that Egyptians considered cats as gods? It's true. They even created tombs for the more memorable ones. When someone that was important passes into the afterlife, they would take their bodies and wrap them in cloth so that they can honor the person properly. Thirdly, let me tell you some fun facts. Did you know that Egyptian gods had the body of humans and the head of animals? Also, they had gods for everything, including knowledge and air. Finally, people believe that Nut, goddess of the sky, swallowed up the sun god Ra each evening. Thank you for listening in. I hope you enjoyed and maybe even learned something new or interesting. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Core Channel. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Amazing Animal Kingdom News. I'm Kendall.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Lauren.
Today we are going to learn about dogs, red foxes, monkeys, cats, and kangaroos.
First up, we have Max studying orangutans.
I don't know much about them. Can you tell me us about them?
Take it away, Max.
Did you know that the orangutan is the biggest forest dweller in the world? My name is Max. I'm going to be talking about orangutans. Orangutans are a species of apes. They have reddish shaggy fur. These animals are very silly and playful. They play with their siblings and parents. A male orangutan weighs about 180 pounds to 200. The female weighs about 60 to 80 pounds. The average height of orangutan is 4 foot 5 inches. The orangutan has elongated hands and feet to help them swing from trees. Some male orangutans are called flanged because they have large cheek pads which help them make loud calls to female orangutans. A female orangutan only has one baby at a time. Baby orangutans live with their mothers for 7 to 8 years. In the wild, orangutans are found in the forest located in Sumatra and Borneo in Southeast Asia. This mammal spends most of their time in the trees. They sleep in homemade nests with branches and leaves. They will make new nests every night, and they will sometimes remake nests. Orangutans can't live out trees. Their habitat is being destroyed by people. Poachers are illegally capturing baby orangutans to sell as pets. Orangutans are omnivores. They eat plants and animals, but 60% of their diet is fruit. Orangutans eat lychees, mangosteen, and figs. They also slurp water from roots. They also eat shoots, leaves, insects, soil, and bark. Orangutans spend 6 hours of their day looking for food. Orangutans are very interesting and intelligent animals. This animal creates tools from their environment. For example, the orangutan makes a roof when it rains. They use leaves and napkins and sticks to dig. Orangutans are part of the family called primates. There are 3 types of orangutans called Sumatra, Borneo, and Tampulu. Thank you. I hope you learned a lot about orangutans.
Wow, you taught me a lot. You should be a teacher, Max.
Those are some really interesting facts, Max.
Next up, we have me with a type of dog, the Jack Russell Terrier. Did you know that Jack Russell Terriers are bred to hunt foxes? I think Jack Russell Terriers are the best. In this essay, I will tell you all about the Jack Russell Terrier. Let's get into the appearance or description, whatever you want to call it. The Jack Russell Terrier stands at about 10 to 15 inches tall. Also, the Jack Russell Terrier has smooth or scruffy fur and weighs about 14 to 18 pounds. Jack Russell Terriers have almond-shaped eyes and cat feet. To care for a Jack Russell Terrier, you need to give it exercise and attention because it has a lot of energy. The Jack Russell Terrier can jump high, so if you want to let it outside in the yard alone, get high fences. Also, the Jack Russell Terrier needs to be brushed once a week. If you are still listening, good job, because this is the important part, the temperament. The temperament of the Jack Russell Terrier overall is pretty good. The Jack Russell Terrier is an expert hunter and likes to dig and explore. Some Jack Russell Terriers like to bark, so train them well. Jack Russell Terriers get along with children and strangers, but are scrappy with other dogs, and it's mischievous and playful too. Those were the reasons why I think Jack Russell Terriers are the best. Also, they are easy to train. If you get a Jack Russell Terrier, don't leave it at home for more than 4 hours because they can get bored and destroy things.
Great job, Michael.
Thanks, I found it interesting too.
Now we're going to learn about another descendant of the dog, the red fox. Let me take you on an adventure through the woods to learn about red foxes. Do you know what the largest kind of fox is? The largest kind of fox is the red fox. You will love red foxes after reading this. Now we will learn what the red fox looks like, their diet, and their babies. A red fox is the largest kind of fox. Like I said before, it has thick, soft fur with black paws and a bushy tail. The fur might be gray, red, or amber. And of course, their cute pointed ears and their snout. A red fox weighs about 22 pounds. Wow, that's a lot. I wonder what to eat. Let's find out. A red fox prefers meat, but will eat anything they can find. So, in some words, they're not picky eaters. They will eat insects and berries, fruit peels, squirrels, bunnies, mice, worms, and bird eggs. A fox travels, so sometimes it's good to not be picky and eat whatever they can find. Now, red fox's babies are called kits. When kits leave home, They don't go far because home is safe. If predators are near, their mother will make them go in the den. The kids are born with gray fur, and as they grow up, their fur changes to red. That's cool. When they are young, their father will bring them food, and they will drink their mom's milk like a cow. Let's see what we've learned. Red foxes have really cute ears. They're not picky like your 5-year-old, and they drink their mom's milk like a cow. Do you know that some dogs look like red foxes? Really cute. There are about 12 kinds of foxes. The red fox is the best kind of fox, though. Now, back to the anchors.
Wow, great job, Kendall.
Thanks. I worked really hard on it.
Next up is Kaylee telling you about something you might find in your own house.
The cat. Have you ever wanted a pet cat and want to know more about them? Lucky for you, because today I can tell you some facts about cats. I will tell you about their appearance, diet, and some types of cats. Hope you all enjoy it. First, cats weigh about 3.6 kilograms. Cats weigh about 8 pounds when a fully grown adult. Cats will either have long fur or will have short fur. Short-haired cats and long-haired cats will have a single coat or a double coat. A single coat will have a silky fur, and double coats will have long hairs called guard hairs. Guard hairs are 2 to 6 inches long. Second, most breeds of cats will eat either canned food or dry food. Whichever type of food you choose for your cat, you should change the flavors often. If you don't change the flavors, you will get a cat that will not eat anything else. Some cat owners will feed their cat meat or table food. Cats also need fresh water to drink in their water bowl. There are many types of cats breeds. Each one of them is unique in their own way. I will tell you about 2 types of breeds. The first breed I will be talking about is the Siamese. The Siamese comes in a few different colors. The first color is chocolate. It has fur the color of milk chocolate. The second color is lilac. It has white and blue-gray fur. The Siamese comes in so many more colors too. The Siamese is also a short-haired cat, which means it has short fur. The next and final cat will be the Persian. The Persian comes in colors like black, white, blue, red, cream, lilac, or even chocolate. Persians are also long-haired cats. They are cats who have coats that have long fur. That is everything for today. Maybe you now want a cat of your own, or you have learned something new about your cat. I hope you enjoyed liked learning about some facts about cats. Bye.
I've always wanted a cat, and that made me want one even more.
Next up, we have Jenna with papillons.
Let's go, Jenna.
Did you know the word papillon is a French word for butterfly? A papillon is also a small dog breed. My name is Jenna, and I am going to be telling you about this special dog breed, the papillon. The papillon has ears that look like butterfly wings. They have long and fringed hair on their ears. Some papillon dogs have ears that lay flat, but most have the butterfly ears. This dog breed is mostly colored white with patches of color. It can have patches of red, brown, or black. The paw pads on the dog can be different colors too. They have straight, long, fine, silky coats, but their coats don't tangle easily. People need to brush their dog's hair to maintain it to be silky. This dog breed also has a small head, and they have a short and thin muzzle. Their long tail sits high on their back. They live an average of 11 years, and they are 8 to 11 inches tall and weigh 10 to 5 pounds. They are very small dogs. The Papillon is called a toy dog breed for its small size. Papillons are very intelligent and fast learners. They learn new tricks almost every day and can do obedience and agility training. This dog can be trained to be a service dog. They are very sociable with people, are very happy, friendly, and adventurous dogs. Also, they have a high energy level. This dog breed has been around for hundreds of years, but it was larger than the Papillon dog today. In the 1500s, the Papillon was called a dwarf or toy spaniel. The Papillon dog were owned by noble families in France, Spain, and Italy. Papillons were in many paintings by the artist Titian, and this dog breed became known as Titian Spaniel. I learned the Papillon dog breed has had a long and interesting history. This dog is very smart and special. Thanks for listening.
Wow, Jenna, that was great.
Next up is Lauren with kangaroos. But before we go on air, can you tell me some fun facts?
Nope, I'm saving them all for my essay. Have you ever wondered about kangaroos, like where they live and what they eat? Kangaroos are fascinating creatures, and I'm going to teach you all about them. First up is appearance. Most kangaroos have light brown fur, but red kangaroo males have brownish red fur, and red kangaroo females and joeys have blue and gray fur. Red kangaroos are 5 to 6 feet and weigh 154 limbs. Red kangaroo males have tails that are a meter long. Tails help all kangaroos balance. A kangaroo's back feet help them jump in the air. Here's a crazy fact. A newborn kangaroo is only an inch when it is born, but keeps growing in its mother's pouch. That is what I learned about a kangaroo's appearance. Next is habitat. You may think kangaroos only live in Australia, but that's actually not true. Kangaroos do live in Australia, but they also live in New Zealand, New Guinea, and Tasmania. In Australia, kangaroos are their national animal. Kangaroos live in areas like the outback, forest areas, and Kangaroo Island in southern Australia. Some kangaroos, like the right kangaroos, live in deserts and semi-deserts. A lot of kangaroos live in the outback. The outback is mostly inhabited by animals. That's all for today about the kangaroo's habitat. Do you know the diet of kangaroos? If not, I'll tell you. Kangaroos are herbivores, an animal that only eats plants. Most of the time, kangaroos will only eat at night. Kangaroos mostly eat near water, eat grass, but they will eat other plants too. Right kangaroos eat near water, but if necessary, they can go days without it. That's all for today about the kangaroo's diet. Well, I really hope you learned something about the kangaroo's diet, habitat, and appearance. Kangaroos are incredible animals. They can even hop up to 30 miles per hour. That's why you should study kangaroos.
I have a stuffed animal kangaroo. I think I have her in my bag. Her name's Casey.
I have a lot of stuffed animals, but I still don't have a kangaroo.
Okay, alright, now we have Noah. Noah is doing another monkey, the howler monkey. I wonder if they actually howl.
Maybe Noah can tell us. Let's go, Noah.
Hello, I heard you are here to learn about one type of monkey. This type is a part of the newer monkeys and has a loud howl. That's right, my talk is about howler monkeys and I hope you enjoy it. First off, you might be asking, what are howlers? Howlers are big monkeys that weigh up to 12 to 20 pounds and are as tall as 2 feet. That's not even counting their tails. Their colors are darkish brown, black, or red fur. Also, the female's gold. Next, let's talk about their behavior. They announce their positions during the morning howls. Morning howls also tell other troops to stay away. And yes, they live in troops. Their loud and bold howls also warn the troop about predators. Finally, for today, we'll be talking about their diet. Howlers like to eat leaves, and that's normally how they get their water too. They also eat flowers and fruit, but mostly leaves. Howlers also eat while hanging from a tree with their tail. Well, my friends, that's all the information I have. By the way, their vocal cords are egg-shaped. That's one reason why their howls are so loud. Anyway, the topics here are called what they are, behavior, and diet. Now remember, if you see these monkeys, listen for their howls. And that's all I have, and thank you all very
Good job, Noah. You did a lot of hard work on that essay, and so did everyone else on their essay, too.
That's all for today on
The Amazing Animal Kingdom News. Bye, guys!
My nails are so long. YMCA.
Stop, we're live.
Oh, hi, I'm Kylie.
Hi, I'm Bianca.
Hi, I'm Alice.
Welcome to Newscast Station of DKCS, Donkey Kong Celebrities and Sports.
First up is Alex. Alex will be talking about the Boston Red Sox. Have you ever wondered what one of the best baseball teams of all time? One of them is the Boston Red Sox, Fenway Park. Fenway Park is where the Red Sox play. The oldest stadium still in use, Fenway has a lot of history. The left field foul pole is part of one of the best moments in Red Sox history. Carlton Fisk up to bat in the 12th inning tie game. It's curling home run. The Red Sox win. The Green Monster. The monster is in left field and is 37 feet and 2 inches, the biggest wall in the MLB. Highs and lows. The 12-time champion Red Sox have had some hard times in their history. They had 7 100-loss seasons, a time where they hadn't won a World Series for such a long time they called it a curse. But the Red Sox have had a lot of good moments. 4 100-win seasons, 26 batting champions, 11 strikeout champions, 18 ERA champions, and 11 MVPs. Fun facts. The Boston Red Sox were a part of the first World Series. They lost the first 3 games and won the next 4. The Red Sox have been around since 1901. Did you know that apparently a famous Red Sox player is frozen in a chamber? After this, I hope you learned about the Red Sox and you are a fan like me.
Thank you, Alex. There was a lot of information that I did not know and I'm probably going to forget. But next up is me talking about cheerleading. Did you know cheerleading is really a sport? Do you ever wonder about cheerleading? Cheerleading is my favorite sport, and here is some stuff to answer your questions if you have any. Cheerleading started in the United Kingdom in the 1860s, and cheerleading started in the United States in the 1880s. Women were involved in cheerleading in the United States in the 1920s. In the 19teens, early cheer was exclusively almost an all-male sport/activity. And I started doing cheer in 2021. Tumbling is a big part of cheerleading. During most cheer tryouts, you need tumbling. There are 2 types of tumbling most of the time. First is running tumbling. First you take a running start, then do hard gymnastics tricks. That's also called a tumble pass. The second type of tumbling is standing tumbling. You would flip from a standing position, then tumble without a running start. It requires strength and control. In a cheerleading team, cheerleaders get in stunt groups that your coach picks. Every group has 2 bases, a back spot, and a flyer. The bases lift and support the flyer while the flyer shows off her skills. If the flyer and bases start to stumble at the competitions, spotters lend a hand. Like many other sports, cheerleading gives a lot of injuries. The injuries cheerleaders mostly get are ankle and wrist sprains, and sometimes cheerleaders break their bones. Some cheerleaders experience concussions that they can cause serious health problems. In conclusion, that is why cheerleading is the best sport ever, and you should also do it. Also, cheerleading is a sport.
Thanks, Skylar. Next up is Evan, and he will be telling us about the World Cup. I think he likes the World Cup.
Yeah, we know.
Have you ever heard of the World Cup? The World Cup is a soccer event that over 36 countries participate in. There are 32 to 48 countries that make it into the World Cup. Brazil have always qualified for the World Cup. There are 32 to 48 teams that are split into 8 groups. The teams that have made it out of the group stages go into the knockout rounds, but most people call it the round of 16. The World Cup is hosted every 4 years. The World Cup is really serious. It's the most watched sporting event in the world. Also, there's a thing called offside when you pass all the players, so if someone passes to you, you can't score. Some countries get into fights. That means a red card or a yellow card. A yellow card is a warning. A red card means you're kicked out of the game and the next one. The World Cup is hosted in different countries every 4 years. They have a jar. They pick a random country and that is the country for the World Cup. The 2026 World Cup will be hosted in the USA for the first time. Most countries are not as good, and they are called the underdogs, such as Morocco, Portugal, USA, Canada, and many more. And one more thing. A fun fact is that soccer/football is the most popular sport in the world and most played. The World Cup is the most popular soccer event in the world.
Wow, Evan has great information about the World Cup. Next up is Addie, and she's going to be talking about Simone Biles.
Thank you, Bianca. Today we're going to be talking about Simone Biles. Did you know that they named a gymnastic trick after her? Now that's cool. Simone has done gymnastics for a long time. So let's start. Simone was born on March 17th, 1997 in Columbus, Ohio, but moved to Texas because her mom had struggles. So she lived with her grandparents. One day she went on a field trip to a gymnastics place. A coach sent her grandparents a letter asking if she could join the gymnastics team. So the next day she joined, and she continued to do it all the way through her whole childhood. Now about adulthood. Simone has been in the Olympics since 2012 through 2021. Now that's amazing. Sadly not in 2020 because of mental health issues. Simone started the Olympics when she was about 15 or 16, and she was in the junior division. But after a couple of years, she was in the adult division. Achievements. Simone has done amazing things, like being in the Fabulous Five, and Simone has won 19 gold medals. Simone has a flip named after her. As you can tell, Simone has done a lot over the years. Thank you for listening.
OMG Addie, I never knew that Simone Biles had a trick named after her. Next up is Bianca, and she'll be talking about Nicki Minaj. Did you know Nicki Minaj is a rapper?
Yes, Kylie, we know.
Okay, here's Bianca.
Do you know the song Chun-Li by Nicki Minaj? If you do, we have something in common. Today I'd like to share some information about Nicki Minaj's childhood, accomplishments, and adulthood. Nicki Minaj grew up in a household with multicultural. Her family consists of her mother, Coral, her father, Robert, and one of her older brothers. Nicki's heritage includes African American and Indonesian bloodlines. During her upbringing, Nicki lived in her grandmother's 3-bedroom house surrounded by 15 adults and numerous family pets. Nicki graduated from LaGuardia School of Arts in 2000, completing her studies in sexual acting in plays. At the moment, Nicki realized she no longer had her passion for theater and no longer was interested. Shortly after this, during the summer of 2010, Nicki had a super cool experience when the toy maker asked her to create a Barbie doll version of herself. She was excited, couldn't wait to start it because it was one of her favorite accomplishments. I'm glad you enjoyed learning about Nicki Minaj and her career. Thanks for taking your time to listen. Have a great day.
That was great, Bianca. Now we have Jaden, and he will be talking about the guy who slapped Chris Rock, Will Smith.
Yo, what's good, y'all? My name is Jaden Desai, and I will be talking about Will Smith. Have you ever wondered what Will Smith's life has been like? Well, you're in luck, because today I'm talking all about Will Smith. Will Smith had a nice childhood despite living in a hood-type area as a kid. Will was born on September 25th, 1968. In West Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. His father worked at a refrigerator company and his mother worked at a local school system. And he called his father saying, "Don't you ever tell me there's something you can't do." He uses this quote for motivation, and he uses his mother's belief in education. "Every problem I've ever had, I found the answer in a book," Will Smith feels. Will was a smart kid. He attended a middle school for high achieving students. In high school, he was a good student, and he was nicknamed Prince because of his charming personality. Will had a successful rap career. At a young age, Will Smith met Jeff Towns, and they became good friends. And they made a duo mate called Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. They became really popular, winning 2 Grammy Awards for the song "Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble" and "Summertime." Before MTV, there was a TV program made by Dick Clark featuring hip-hop artists like Will Smith, The Roots, and Schoolie D. Will Smith's very successful acting career. Will started acting in 1992 with Day Takes You in 1993 Made in America, which were good and respectable films, but the film that made him get stuck out for critics was 6 Degrees. He started getting bigger roles. An example of this are Bad Boys 2, and Independence Day. He got more popular and was in Men in Black and its sequels. He starred in Enemy of the State and Ali. Smith won an Academy Award for the role Pursuit of Happiness. Smith starred in many more films, but his biggest grossing film was Bad Boys for Life. I hope you enjoyed this time talking about Will Smith. He is one of the best actors of all time. That is it, y'all. Hope you enjoyed talking about this tiny part of your life, talking about Will Smith. See y'all next time.
Thanks, Jaden. Now but not least is Julia. Julia will be talking about JoJo Siwa.
Hi, my name is Julia, and I'm going to be talking about the pop star JoJo Siwa. JoJo Siwa was born in Oklahoma, Nebraska on May 19, 2003. She also had an older brother named Jaden. For most of JoJo Siwa's life, she was homeschooled, except for 3rd grade when she was a kid. She loved dancing, but she also played softball. JoJo Siwa's mom also owned a dance studio in Oklahoma, Nebraska, called Just Dance. When she was younger, JoJo wanted to be a pop star, and she actually ended up on Dance Moms, a competitive dance show. In 2015, she got selected on a competitive dance team. In 2016, JoJo released a song called Boomerang. Boomerang is a song about online bullying. In 2019, JoJo had a concert tour named Dream. Her tour traveled to a total of 52 states across the United States, came in Canada and United Kingdom and Australia. In addition to dancing, singing, JoJo did many other activities in entertainment. She competed in season 3 of Masked Singer as a T-Rex when she was 16. Also in 2017, she was in a movie on Nickelodeon called Bert. She was on many other movies and shows. JoJo has a signature hairstyle. She puts her hair in a high ponytail and wears a large bow. In 2016, JoJo released a hair bow line that became very popular. JoJo felt her hair bows were a symbol of power, confidence, and believingness. She created many other items to sell. She made a doll that looked like her, helped design bedroom decor, and had several books and many other accessories. JoJo no longer wears her signature hair bows, but she is still a dancer, singer, and actress and YouTuber. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Julia. We learned a lot about JoJo Siwa. And thank you for listening to DKCS. And this is the end of Ms. Harrington's 5th grade class newscast.
Okay, cut the camera. Turn it off. Turn it off! Oh, you're still watching? Bye.